Welcome to Just Minding My Business Media. I hope you all are having an amazing day. I am so excited to bring to you today Taylor Shanklin Wilson, who is the CEO and founder of Creative Shizzle. Love it. A subscription-based creative agency specializing in content and design on demand. With over 20 years of experience in marketing, multimedia, and brand growth, Taylor has a knack for making brands unforgettable by doing things differently. Wow. I like that outside the box.
Thank you. It's more fun when you live outside the box, you know?
Yes, it is.
Way more
Wow.
fun.
So tell us about a little bit about your beginnings and how you decided to get how you got here.
Yeah. Oh, great question. So it's just been a long journey in the world of content marketing. I was, fresh out of, my undergraduate degree. I had gotten a degree in English. I really didn't know what I was doing with it. And it was back in, 2005 or so. I was just kind of, making ends meet and then decided I should go back to school and learn some technical skills and got into the world of web development and doing more with graphic design and multimedia. Fast forward, I don't know, 20 years later, and I, started my own company because I just learned a lot of things in the world and in sitting in the seat of a marketer every single day and decided I want to create something where people, marketers, small businesses can have really affordable and really consistent design and content services because we live so much of our world and we do so much of our marketing, our businesses online now that one of the biggest things I hear from small teams or small business owners is that I have to put so much content out. I'm totally overwhelmed. I don't know what channels to be on. I hired this person on Fiverr. They weren't very good. I never got the assets. And I was like, what if we just make something that's really consistent to alleviate this? And so that's really what Creative Shizzle is and is all about.
Yes, consistency is king.
Mm,
That's a key word
yeah.
you just said, consistency, because
It's
you want people to recognize you.
hmm Yeah, it's my word of 2024, actually. Literally, like if you choose, have you ever chosen a word of the year?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
consistency was my word this year. I kept saying it to my team. I was like, that's the word this year. You're gonna hear it a lot.
It means a lot. Even if you don't see anything right away, you just have to keep going at it.
Yeah,
You
totally.
just have to. So let's talk a little bit about bootstrapping a business. I like that
Mm,
term.
yeah, pull them up. No. It's hard, bootstrapping a business, and I've bootstrapped my business. I started as a team of one. It was me. I made a website. I said I'm a branding and content marketing agency now. And I just started, selling my services that I kind of, built up over the years. And, slowly you kind of get a client, you get a client, you get a client, and then you're on a point where you're thinking, okay, I need to hire some help because like I can't do this all. So that's the whole solopreneur journey. And then it just kind of built off from there. And I took my team from 1 to 20 in about 2 years. And it's been a journey bootstrapping it. I lived very cheap for I still do, That's I think part of the journey too is like I really don't live a very expensive lifestyle. And it has allowed me to build this business without taking on funding to date, which I think has been good so far because it's helped us think outside the box, like what we talked about, and I can move and make decisions really quickly. And I think that that's been a benefit so far.
Yes, I can definitely relate to the bootstrapping.
Yeah. I drive a very old car, Ida. I don't know about you, but it's not new.
Oh yeah, I'm with you, my dear. I just paid my car off, and
Yeah,
I'm gonna drive it till the wheels fall off.
that's pretty much what I'm doing. That's exactly what I'm doing.
I am not one of those people that have to have the greatest, the best. I just need something that works. And as
Yeah,
long as I put the key in and it starts up and it takes me from A to B, I'm good.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, it's interesting in this like world of kind of sitting in an entrepreneur seat and bootstrapping. I mean, I think I you have to sort of decide like, am I okay with just grinding and doing that and driving the old car, or do I want to go and try to get funding? But then I've got someone to answer to, and they're both just choices.
Hmm.
You know, you could go in this direction or you can go in that direction. And I'm not saying I won't ever try to go take, get funded or anything like that. But right now, like, I really like the freedom of being able to make my own choices and not have to put together a PowerPoint every week to convince the board of what I'm doing. And it's been, it's been scary and nerve-wracking, but at the same time, really joyful.
Yes, I feel you on that, because now that you have a team, I'm building my team now. I'm accountable to them. They're looking to me every week for funding.
Yeah.
So I need to make sure that I'm keeping my budget intact for what we're doing so that I can take care of them.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. And that's one of those things where, yeah, you feel like that's what I'm accountable every day to. Honestly, like
Yes.
it's one of the things I go to bed thinking about.
Yeah.
It's one of the things I wake up thinking about. Like, how do I make sure this team is able to show up every day and do this work, And so like keeping the lights on is a big part of it.
Yeah. And that's an important part of it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about a new brand and how you help your clients to resonate with their target audience.
Good question. I love talking about branding. It's one of the, cores to our business. Um, are you familiar with StoryBrand? Have you heard of StoryBrand or used that framework before?
Yes, I've heard of that. Yes.
Okay, so I'm a big proponent of StoryBrand. I coach people on StoryBrand. And one of the things that I think is so important when you're thinking about how do you resonate with your target audience is to take a step back and not think so much about what you're selling or what you think you should put out into the world, but what is it that my target audience is having a pain around, that I solve? And how do I lean into that pain and like sort of agitate the pain a bit and say, I can solve that for you. Because people will pay money to solve a problem. And so when you think about sort of like, kind of approaching your positioning and your messaging and your brand, I like to really approach it from what's the problem that we're solving for our target audience, because that's something that they'll pay attention to. People pay attention to like fix a problem. And so that's, one of the things that I have found that helps brands the most is when you kind of approach it from that direction as opposed to approaching it from like the brand first direction, which is like, well, this is what we do, and this is why we're great, and this is why you should buy this. If you approach it from, I see you, this is hard, I've got a solution for you to make it easier to then like transform you into this whole new place, that just works a lot better, gets people's
Yes.
attention better.
Yes, yes, indeed, because people want to solve problems.
Mhm.
Simple as that. And we all have problems.
Everybody's got a problem. Exactly.
Especially in business, you get a whole new set of them.
Uh-huh. I got lots of problems, Ida.
Don't we all? It's like I wake up every day, Lord, Help me solve this one today.
Right, exactly.
Wow. So, what are the key indicators that it's time to consider rebranding?
Hmm. Um, you can look at your sales and your conversions, like one of the biggest indicators is like, are people not buying? And I've run into this with brands that we've done rebrands with before where they feel like they have a big audience. They're maybe driving a lot of traffic to their website,
Mhm.
but they're not converting that traffic. That's often a key indicator that there's something off with your messaging. Again, maybe it's just not resonating with the audience. Maybe it's not even clear. Maybe they see a great ad, but then they go to your website and it's like not connected to
Mhm.
what they saw in the ad. And
Mhm.
so really it brings us back to that word, our favorite word, consistency. Really having like a consistent message across all of your channels. And if you don't have a consistent message, you might see like conversion rate issues with, putting people through your marketing and your sales funnel. So that's one. If you're not selling enough stuff, that could be an indicator of like a need for a rebrand. It could be that your brand is just old and dated looking, so like sometimes it's a visual refresh that's needed.
Mhm.
The last time we did a visual refresh was 15 years ago. Well, okay, the world's changed since then. Design aesthetics on the internet have changed since then. So a lot of times just age, I think of a brand as it's an evolution. I think of it as like an evolving sort of living, breathing thing, and it evolves as the world evolves around us. It evolves as our customers evolve and their needs evolve, generations evolve. And so I think just kind of maintaining relevancy and staying with the times, I think is an important factor and something to maybe see as an indicator of a brand. So
Yeah.
those are really the two biggest things I would say are good indicators.
Okay. So, if people want to work with you, how do they connect?
Yeah. Well, I'm on LinkedIn a lot, so find me Taylor Shanklin Wilson on LinkedIn. Check out our website, creativeshizzle.com. That's creative and then SHIZZLE.com. Go check us out there. You can send me a note on the website. You can actually book a time to talk with me. Just click the book a demo button and you'll get me. We're still a boutique agency vibe. And yeah, I would say too, connect online. I put out a lot of content for small businesses and marketers on my LinkedIn channel pretty regularly.
Um, Okay. Okay. Kindness and
Yeah,
leadership. We know kindness is, I mean, is infectious. It's one of those things. Love is important. Being making your customers feel like you really, really care about them.
yeah,
So you
it
want to talk
matters.
about that a bit and how it drives your performance and revenue growth.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm actually writing a book on this right now. I am a big believer in kindness and leadership, and not just like kindness for kindness sake, but like real kindness.
Mhm.
Um, I think so often we get caught up in the corporate culture of just focusing on the numbers and focusing on growth and more and more and more that we don't necessarily stop to think about how are we treating our team? How are we setting our goals? Are we doing it in a way that makes the team feel valued, feel heard? Um, and I think when you start that way, like flip the script a little bit and you start with that approach, you'll find that your team's happy and happy teams show up and do a better job. If they're showing up and doing a better job, your customers are probably going to be a lot happier. So you're probably going to have a more sustainable business.
Mhm.
Um, I've worked in enough places where, every hour is nickeled and dimed, and customers see that and they don't like that experience. Customers don't want to feel like a transaction. They want to be a part of the story, right, with you. And so I think that if you focus on, I kind of have like a team first mentality and, really focus on building a great place to work and a happy place to work. And it's been working so far. We keep growing every year. We keep adding on new people to the team and new clients. And I think it's just something that more leaders should focus on, a little bit less on like numbers, 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 and more on how are we actually like creating a great place to work? Because I think when you focus on that, like the numbers come, it falls into place.
Yes, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. My team love them to death. It's when we meet, it's like, how are you doing?
Hmm.
Any concerns? You know, and I'm the type of person, it's like if I go to the left, let me know. I might not know I'm going to the left.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like call me out. Exactly.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
could be mad.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. No, and that's part of it too. Like there's that kind of layer of radical candor. I
Mm,
don't know if you read that book, but like I think that's part of it. It's like not just like not being like fake nice,
right.
being real and
Mhm.
being nice to yourself. Being nice to people sometimes is also like being real with them or letting them be real with you.
Yes.
So our chief happiness officer, she and I are like real candid with each other. But like we're not tearing each other down. We're just like we're being honest and
Right.
open and authentic and it works. Like you get more done, it's more productive,
Yes.
and we both show up feeling like we can like just kind of say what we need to say.
Yeah.
And I actually think that's part of like the kindness layer that's like this different level of kindness it's not surface level,
Hmm.
kindness, but it's actually a lot deeper.
Yes, I agree with you wholeheartedly. And working in corporate America showed me what I never ever wanted to do to
Hmm.
people. I want to treat people, they're part of the building of everything. I cannot do this without you. I need your input. I need what you think. I want you to be creative. Think outside the box.
Hmm.
I'm like, we can try it. I'm never gonna say no, we're not doing that. You bring
Yeah,
it to me. Let's try it. See what happens.
yeah,
What we
yeah.
got to lose.
I like it. I like you. No.
That's how I roll. I like to keep it real. And even
Yeah.
in corporate America, I'm an IT professional for like over 30 years. And I did the same thing with my users when I supported them. It was like they would get, they call you, they're all out of control because their computer's not working right. It's like first you got to calm them down
Hmm.
and let them get it out. And then it's like, okay, now that we got all of that out, now we're going to fix this problem and you're going to be on your happy way.
I like it. I love it. It
Yes,
works. It works so much better.
it does work better, and it's a lot of times management, like if there was an issue going on, they wanted you to lie to the users.
Hmm.
Not a liar. I have a hard
No.
time with lying, a real hard time.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, really? Are you sure about that? It's gonna be obvious.
Yes, exactly. It just doesn't work for me. I'm
Yeah.
very, very upfront person and I like
Yeah.
to keep it real with people.
Well, I also think it doesn't work for any business in the long run. Like eventually
Right.
you lose people. You lose your good staff people,
Yes.
members, you lose good customers that way. Like people eventually see through the BS, you
Yes.
know? And so it's like to me, running a business that way is very short-term focused,
Yes.
versus running it based on like we're playing the long game here. But like because we wanna build a long lasting business, And so I think that that's, and even you just see it the way people are getting laid off these days
Mhm.
in droves with
Yes.
no care and no caution. And you hear these horror stories about how layoffs are being handled. And it's like, these are people's lives you're dealing with,
Yeah.
Like, could you do it with a bit more grace, at
Yeah.
least.
Yes.
You
And then
know?
people being terminated for unjust reasons,
Mhm.
because maybe they're not a yes sir type person. Maybe they challenge you in some
Mm.
of the things that you say to them. That's
Yeah.
no reason to fire somebody.
No. Yeah. We all have different opinions here. It's okay to
Yeah.
share. Yeah. Yeah.
So, but anyway, we could go on and on and on about that.
We could.
So, what does minimize to maximize mean? And
Yeah.
how can a business apply this principle effectively?
So minimize to maximize. I did a TEDx talk on that a few years ago, and it's really about, and I actually think it layers into the whole kindness and leadership thing and being kind to yourself. It's just about minimizing all of the thousand things on your mind or on your to-do list
Hmm.
and getting rid of it so you can maximize your energy on the things that actually give you oxygen. And so, I think it's so easy to try to be all the things or do all the things, and it doesn't really serve us individually as people or as businesses very well, usually. And so it's really about just like, I've got 3 Ds: do it, drop it, delegate it. That's the rule. The 3 rules of minimize to maximize is do it is that bucket that make a list of the things that you should absolutely keep doing because you're the best person to do it and you love doing it and you get a lot of energy and oxygen out of doing it.
Hmm.
Delegate is what is it that still needs to get done, but maybe you're not the best person to do it. Maybe there's someone on your team you can delegate it to. Maybe there's automation like technology that can be doing some of the work for you. And then drop it is just like start saying no. If it's not serving you, if it's not serving your business, like say no to it and just like get it off the list. Why is it there? And I think when you start doing that, like you start finding more joy and more freedom and like it's just again like it's way more fun.
Yes, and
Into having
gonna
fun.
I'm gonna adopt the 3 Ds because sometimes
Yeah, do the
we
three
do
Ds.
we do haggle over things
Hmm.
because we want it to work, but maybe it's just not possible at this particular time.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can always come back to things. So maybe sometimes it's like drop it for now.
Right.
Say no for now. I'm a big proponent of that. It's not always like a no never. It could just be a no, not right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, what does the future look like?
Ooh, the future for me, for the world. I don't know. That's a big question. Well, I think, for small business owners and marketers and a lot of the people that I'm kind of working with on a regular basis, I think the future is interesting. I think with AI and the advent of AI and it coming into our lives on a more regular basis, I think one, it's been scary for a lot of people. I think, and it can be scary, and I certainly think there are some scary things about it. I also think that it can be really exciting and it's an opportunity to really embrace more like efficiencies that you can find in your day by using AI and technology to live a little bit more in your lane of genius. Right. So, like, I use these new emerging technologies to help take some of the grunt work off or just the brainstorming work off. But then I can spend my time more on the strategy or the relationship building, the people stuff
Mhm.
that technology can't do. And so I think, if you're running a small business of your own and you're thinking about that and how to embrace it, like that's my, kind of prediction of I think more people will start figuring out how to embrace it and how to adapt to where what part of our world do we need to have the human part and what part can we use technology to just be more efficient and you
I
know
think so too, because I use it more like you for brainstorm. Sometimes I know what I want to say, but it's just not coming together.
Right. Yeah,
The
exactly. And so I can kind
So
of type some things in and say, like, this is sort of the idea. Help me
yes.
like flesh it out a little bit more. And then it's boop, 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 boop. And then something that might take me 3 hours to flesh out is done in like a
Yes.
snap.
Yes.
And then I can move on to more, you know. I can spend more time with my team. I can think more about like the kindness stuff and the how are we gonna, keep kind of, the aura going because I'm using tech to take some of the more like grunt work off my plate.
Yes. Talk a little bit about your TEDx that reached over 300,000
Yeah.
viewers.
Well, that was the minimize to maximize TEDx. And what I'll tell you what got me to that point of writing that and coming up with the whole principle of minimize to maximize. It was a couple things. I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder suddenly, and you're in this place where you're suddenly like, oh, okay, like you're just a healthy person, and then all of a sudden you're not a
Mhm.
healthy person. And all of a sudden you're looking at like, I'm gonna have to take all these prescription drugs for the rest of my life. And like, what does this mean and what can happen? And it really put me into a place of life is short, make the most of it,
Mhm.
minimize to maximize. So it was health challenges, and then it was also, yeah, just the grind of corporate America and those things kind of coming together. And that's really what helped, like, kind of got me into this place where I just decided to be a little bit more like seize the day, say no, think outside the box, like do what you can do to live with more joy every day. And so that's what I go deep into the kind of my experience with my disease and, minimize to maximize and really how to practice it and, that's some sort of thing.
Yes, and that's so important. That's so important when we on that grind. And I think with the pandemic, that kind of helped some people to get out of that grind. I know it did for me because my day was starting at 4 a.m. in the morning, 2 hour drive
Mm-hmm.
to and from. I felt like I was passing through my house. I really
Yeah.
wasn't living there.
Yeah. Yeah. You feel like you're just a cog in a machine and you're kind of
Yes,
like, do I really want to wake up at the end of this life and be like, what did I do?
I know.
You know?
And the
Yeah.
pandemic showed me that, when I had to sit still and couldn't go anywhere, it was like I noticed things in my house I never noticed before.
COVID certainly did that too for me.
Yeah, so Richard, that is so crucial. So how can I listen to the TEDx? Because I really
Yeah.
listen to it.
Um, if you go to, it's on the TED.com channel or on YouTube. If you
Okay.
just kind of search Google Taylor Shanklin, TEDx or Taylor Shanklin minimize to maximize, it'll come up and yeah, check it out.
Okay. I think that's important. I see why 300,000 people viewed it because everybody looking for that peace and joy. Everybody wants to feel that. Even
Yeah.
though we know we have to work, we know we have to do what we have to do, but how can we balance?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's so important. It's not really something you can argue with too much. You're right, I mean, I think, and everybody has their own story of, tribulation. Mine was getting diagnosed with my autoimmune disease, which was making it hard to even like move. Like I had days where I couldn't walk because my knees were so swollen with like inflammation in my joints and or I couldn't dress myself because I like couldn't move my shoulders.
Mhm.
And, I've seen my brother really challenged with autoimmune as well. And he actually was paralyzed by his disease and, is in a wheelchair now. And seeing like his fortitude and his, just ability to look on the bright side has been a huge inspiration to me. He's probably the most mentally tough person I've ever met in my life. And you see that and it's just Yeah, it's like a reminder to like really kind of stop and I know we, smell the roses, but really like appreciate um, our time here because it's limited. It's the one thing we can't get back, So why are we like, you know, pissing it away at times, on dumb stuff or dumb arguments or,
Yes, you're so
yeah.
right. So again, how do people connect with your company and how do they connect with you?
Yeah. Well, go find me on LinkedIn, Taylor Shanklin Wilson. Go to creativeshizzle.com. And also, if you're an Instagrammer, I forgot, I am on Instagram too. And I do more of like my kind of small business coaching stuff on Instagram. Go with Taylor is my handle on Instagram.
Wow, this has been awesome, Taylor.
Yeah.
Be on the same page with so many things, it's like I enjoyed you. I truly.
Well, I enjoyed you too. Thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun. It was a great conversation. I felt like we were just sitting down having coffee together.
Yes, and that's how I like to have it because I feel like it's more authentic.
Hmm.
Yes. And
Yeah.
audience, I know you're gonna get some great nuggets out of this because Taylor was laying them out.
How I roll.
Yes, she was. So thank you so much. And we're definitely gonna have to do this again.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And you'll have to come on my podcast too. Talk
Yes,
about what you do in your business.
yes, absolutely. I look forward to that.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Ida. It's been a pleasure.
Yes.